Sisters and brothers, I am Lakesha Harrison, President of AFSCME Local 3299, UC Service Workers and Patient Care Workers Union. I'm here today to respond to UC President Mark Yudof's remarks at the Regents meeting, misleading the public around layoffs, furloughs, and budget situation at UC. His latest attempt to confuse the issue only further shows a need for real transparency and real accountability in UC administration. President Yudof got a number of facts wrong. The least of these was his claim that union leaders, particularly myself, have refused to meet with him even once to discuss furloughs. The truth is, I have requested meetings with President Yudof and he has refused. I met multiple times with other UC officials who requested, received, and now refuse to engage in a set of sensible budget solutions for UC. Our union presented these budget solutions over a month ago, which would have saved UC's campuses from devastating reductions to essential services. The second thing President Yudof misrepresented is the position that UC offered AFSCME a guarantee against layoffs in exchange for furloughs. I sat across the table as UC's Vice President of Human Resources told me point blank they would not guarantee against layoffs. Instead, he said UC would likely implement both furloughs and layoffs whether or not employees participated in a furlough plan. If President Yudof is now implying the opposite, this is a big shift in the university's position. Another factual error committed by the president was his claim that the furlough plan is fair because it graduated between 4 and 10%. The furlough plan actually goes to great lengths to shelter the income of UC's highest earners. Many top earners will see much less than 10% reductions to pay. In fact, many top earners are now completely exempted from the plan, leaving the burden to be carried disproportionately by UC's low and middle income workers. President Yudof is right that his furlough plan is not like the state's. The state did not exempt workers based on their level of income or influence. The last misrepresentation I will bring up here is the assertion that UC is no longer awarding raises. In the very same Regents meeting, millions of dollars of raises were discussed and later approved. This has been the case in every Regents meeting so far this year. So these things that Mark Yudof has said, in addition to a number of other things said during the Regents meetings, are just not true. I hope the public will continue to be discerning and critical of this. Now, let's talk about what's really wrong at UC. This is a crisis of priorities. There are a number of ways UC can manage its resources without severe cuts and fee hikes. For example, the current state revenue reductions total roughly $800 million over 2 years. UC has $1.2 billion reserved to lend to faculty and executives for home mortgages. $800 million of this reserve remains unborrowed. There are many more examples like this. AFSCME outlines several in its alternative budget solutions for UC. The university asked us for these alternatives in July and now won't discuss them with us. It makes no sense unless asking for budget alternatives was just a song and dance from UC. Instead of enacting sensible budget measures, UC is pushing continued short staffing and endangering the health and safety of everyone on campus. According to a recent survey, 86% of UC's workers responding said understaffing is already creating health and safety risks on campuses. 94% said reductions will worsen these risks and cause even more harm. UC has operated as a successful corporation for many years. UC is very successful at accumulating profits and paying its executives top dollar while shortchanging everyone else. UC Regents said students will now pay 40% more to get less and less. UC's leadership has failed to effectively advocate for more public funds because they have quietly accepted privatization and the higher fees and limited access that goes along with that. We need the president and regents to act responsibly and enact the right fiscal plan during California's tough budget years. The state does need to restore funding to public education, but 3 things need to happen. 1, UC administration must have its priorities straight to receive and properly administer the public trust. People in education need to come before profits and executive perks. 2, UC executives need to be held accountable to Californians. 3, hospitals and campuses need to provide quality patient care, core student services, clean restrooms, cleared pathways, as well as sufficient teaching staff. I challenge President Yudof to come with me on house visits with workers who have received layoff notices. Tell those workers UC will make a new commitment and change its priorities. Allow workers to continue providing essential services needed to fulfill the university's mission. I've said it before, AFSCME is ready, willing, and able to achieve all these goals together. My meeting request with the President remains open.